the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. Nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now. Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. The no bullshit approach to all financial markets, including political betting, Bitcoin, and the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. Today on Market Mania, we have a jam-packed show for you today that I can't really see, but we are going to have special guest Mark Herm on right now with us, and he is going to tell us the first topic, our ICO boom in 17. He was a big part of it. And Mark, thank you for being on Market Mania today.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for having me. So the ICO boom, I've had a lot of sweats in my life. I back people in poker. I play people. I play poker. I've had sweats like at the main event final table. Nothing compared to the ICO boom sweat that was happening in late 2017. So basically what happened was Paul G's, a good friend of mine, Paul Volpe, a good poker player, he told me and a few other guys, you guys got to get in Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was like 500, got to get in. I blindly listened to him, fired a bunch of money into Bitcoin. And from there, Paul's very smart. He said, we need to get in these ICOs. So we found a way in through one of these groups, and we invested some money in ICOs. We invested, I invested a couple hundred K. Paul invested a couple hundred K. Whatever. Shit started to go well. We hit a massive score with ICX. We bought ICX at 12 cents. It went, I think it peaked at like $13 or something like that. So, that's 100x. And then at that point, a bunch of other people had asked us to invest for them too. And we got them in ICX and some other stuff. And then once ICX happened, every motherfucker hit me up to get in these ICOs. Like literally people were throwing money at us to get in ICOs. And we weren't like super experienced in the space or whatever. We kind of just went off of this thing that Paul thought. And it was just insanity. Like my whole life was complete fucking insanity for, the 4 months or whatever that was happening. But basically seeing something go from 12 cents, to $10 in like the course of a month or 2 months, it's an undescribable feeling. It's fucking insane. And then also the greed that you see and the delusion that goes on when, you're making so much money and you think that you're like, I also had fell victim to this too. You feel like you're kind of invincible and you're so smart. And you get like a big ego for sure. It's like all these crazy dynamics were happening all at once. And it was just like the wildest time of all. It was insane.
Everyone I knew that was trading there crushed it. My one friend turned 40K into 1.4 million. Another friend 10K into 200K. And that was like average. That wasn't even like, oh my God, that's a crazy story. That was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like you traded ICOs that year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All for crushing.
Mark, how many do you think, if you just had to guess?
How many what?
How many ICOs did you fire into?
20, maybe 20, 30. And
then what was like the peak? I know you threw out a huge number there before the show. Yeah. What was the peak size of
so basically it was like 1.6 million peaked at 80 or 90 million. Okay. So that's like a legit number. That's assuming we had all cashed at the top. And essentially no one cashed out really. I actually dumped a lot of my stuff into Bitcoin at least, but then Bitcoin got buried. But yeah, everyone got greedy. Everyone, no one wants to sell. No, especially guys that are in the poker space. They don't think of selling. It was never even a thought in their head to sell. Why would I sell? It's only 100x.
I mean, like, so nobody in the fund. No, how many people were in the fund? How many degens did you collect into the high limit ICO game?
Right. So it started off with like a core group of like 10 guys. And then after that, it grew to like 60 or something like that. And like the second batch of guys that came in got crushed, if that makes sense. Like like at that point, like another like, you know, a ton of money they were, you know, handing us to funnel through ICOs, and they got mashed because, you know, we were just putting it in ICOs, just randomly firing. You know, we weren't
30% bonus. 30% bonus. Just come in with a big number. That's all you need to do, right?
Wait, what do you mean 30% bonus?
I always saw the ICO game that people were some of the entities were offering like more tokens, like 30% more tokens if you came with like big money, you know, close to the beginning.
There's all sorts of back alley deals and all sorts of crazy shit going on. Yeah, tons of stuff. Yes, crazy shit. Yes, it was insane.
I heard some with it, like they said they were buying up hashing power. They'd buy the shitcoin, then buy hashing power. Then a journalist would do a story saying, all right, look, there's new miner interest in this coin. And then the boys were just ready to dump on them as soon as I guess that's not really ICO.
Yeah, no one's mining most of these other chains for the like on average. It's almost all just they're mining it themselves. The chain.
Was it all ERC20 stuff, Mark? Mostly.
Almost all, yeah. It all started as ERC20, then some of them, for instance, ICX turned into its own native shit. So, but yeah,
absolutely crazy. So this brings us to that's absolutely insane, and thank you for sharing some of the stories on there. This brings us to ETH2, and Mark, I don't know how much ETH2 you're playing with these days, or if you've even seen, you know, that the initial funding something started already, and then we have to wait a year. And then it goes to proof of stake, it looks like.
I have very limited knowledge on any of this shit. I kind of default to guys that I know that are sharp. I have very limited technical knowledge on any of this stuff, so I'm worthless.
This one is a cool story that just came out here that was about ETH2, that they started staking it. And it looks like a guy, if you scroll down a little bit, Tony, some guy staking his 32 ETHs. So, you know, you got like 16 grand just, you know, that's locked up for a year. He says a Roomba or a toddler press the button on the machine that's running his ETH validator node or whatever it's called, and it says that now there's a penalty for being offline. So
wait, that's not just some guy though. That's the head of Synthetics, SNX. It's like a probably 600 million market cap token. So he'll be all right.
Thank you. See why we keep this guy around over here? Like, yeah, I just thought it was a rando on Twitter, but yeah, he says he's LOLing off the 1 ETH loss, but just note that, you know, this new ETH2 thing promises yield. You have to lock up, I think it's 32 per validator for a while, and then there are some pitfalls. Was the point of this, Brett Ritchie? Thank you very much for that. All right,
you got it,
Brett. Tell me about this one because this is awesome. AirBNB already trading on FTX, even though it hasn't IPO'd yet.
Yeah, so we covered this on the show earlier. I like Airbnb at pretty much any price that it hits Robinhood at. I think it'll go up. And apparently FTX, they're jumping the gun a bit. I know they're, I believe, out of Hong Kong, and they're listing it. You can trade. I know they just recently launched a stocks product where you can trade like tokenized versions of US stocks, which alone I feel would draw regulators' attention. But now doing it pre-listing is, to me, it's like an unnecessary risk. FTX is just crushing. And obviously, I don't know, I'm sure they have a good legal team, but to me, this is like an insane risk. But again, I imagine crypto people are just going to fire and pump it higher. I would bet, if anything, it's going to trade higher here than it will on the US market, which is going to be high.
Mark, do you fire an FTX? I know this is become the focus. Zero.
No, so I just follow guys that know. I don't know that much about a lot of this stuff. I put money in with Matt. I have a buddy, Dan Harmitz, who's like a legend in the hedge fund space. I just give them my money and that's it. I randomly will get like a sharp pick off of someone that I trust and know is sharp. I'm good at understanding who's sharp, but no, I will not.
You see that Trump market, 10 cents? You could lay the other side up to like a few milli, like.
Yeah.
No interest on FTI, little synthetic.
No, I do. I'm just really not that. My head's more been in poker, honestly. So I would 100%. It sounds like I have FOMO on it. Actually, I wish I knew.
FTX, this platform has just gone bananas the last year or so. Quickly I think number 3 exchange now or something, offering all the fund leverage trading products, and now, like Brett said, tokenized stocks. All right,
it looks great. I wish it was open to Americans, but again, like this means it's probably never gonna. That's never going to happen.
This is crazy too. I don't know, I'm sure, Mark, that this hit your radar, that MicroStrategy, the first public company, I think they were before Square, decided to do another offering, sell a little, dilute the stock a little bit, and fire it all into Bitcoin. How about that?
No, I did not know that. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about that. No, I didn't.
Two public companies, Square and MicroStrategy, both took a little bit of the treasury management, and then they said, "Okay, you know what? We're gonna fire that into Bitcoin."
Bitcoin is actually part of Square's business, so it makes a lot of sense for Square. MicroStrategy, in my opinion, the CEO took mushrooms or acid or something earlier this year, discovered Bitcoin, and he bought over 100 million personally dollars worth of Bitcoin.
Wow.
And then he fired, what did they fire the first round? Like a couple hundred million of the company's money or something, 100 million in to Bitcoin. Now he's raising more money. It started at 400 million. Now it's up to, he's raising 550 million for this company to just go and buy Bitcoin with it.
At what price did he enter? Do you know?
He posted it. Michael Saylor,
like 10K or 11K. It was earlier. Wow. He bought in.
God gave him a strong message.
Yeah, he's made a nice run up since he bought in the spring sometime. Right. I think
he Saylored it in, as we say. The guy's last name is Saylor, and I don't know, man. I mean, that's crazy. Diluting the shares to.
Either way, I don't get this though. The raising money to go buy Bitcoin for the public, that just seems like a shenanigans kind of move. And also, my theory is that Bitcoin is going to drop when these election bets get graded. It is billions upon billions of dollars was bet on this election. A lot of people are going to get paid out, choose to cash out in Bitcoin and want to turn it into US dollars. And plus you have people taking end of the year gains or whatever. So for me, I would short MicroStrategy and Bitcoin in the near term.
Yeah, I don't know if prostitutes are back into Bitcoin or what, but I think that's pretty much my surefire sign to sell. I haven't heard it yet, like from prostitutes or
It was the poker dealers, blackjack dealers, or prostitutes, or the nightclub guy. Yeah. Nightclub door guy.
Yeah,
like, hey, man, you gotta buy this Bitcoin stuff.
Yep.
The long-standing Vegas indicators on when to get out. Gotta love it. Dip Throng. He is dialed in here, ladies and gentlemen.
My landlord was asking me about Litecoin and Ripple in like late 2017. So
I had an Uber cab driver that was 60 years old talking to me about nucleus vision.
Yep.
Or sorry, 2018.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, what the fuck?
Liquidate the fund right there, right then and there. All right. HypnoTrading. Now, Mark, thank you very much for coming on today, but also for telling us about this topic. I'm really interested. So this is essentially a like hypnotherapy or something?
Yeah. So I've done pretty much like I've done a ton of different modalities, self-help stuff, conventional therapy. I was a part of a sex cult. I've done every sort of self-help thing that you could think of, right? And I think that hypnotherapy has by far helped me the most of all of these different modalities. And basically the premise of it is this, between the ages of, 4 and 10, a lot of stuff gets hardwired into our brain. Right. And that kind of becomes the operating system on which we live our lives, subconsciously or consciously, usually subconsciously. Right. A lot of self-limiting factors, subconscious blockages, self-sabotaging things, all of these really tricky, hard to spot things within ourselves are like lurking there and generally are what's holding us back from success or getting what we want. So hypnotherapy is just kind of, it gets you into what is called the theta wave brain state, which is supposedly is the brain state that you're in at that age frame of 5-7 years old, whatever that is. And then from that place, you can access the subconscious mind and basically rewire and remove the past trauma that has occurred to you and reframe it in a way that does not negatively affect you anymore, if that makes sense.
And how is it done? Is it a one-on-one Zoom? Is it like... Yes. Is it the clock and like the stopwatch, like you kind of think of?
So you're not actually. So that's what people say. They always think of you're like hypnosis. It's not. I've never felt like hypnotized in my life. It's not that. It's more you're just like in a calm meditative state, and you're in a state where you can access weird memories. So like I'll do my session with my guy Elliot Rowe, who's the best. I do it on Skype. He talks to me. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about. he'll ask me about an issue that I'm having in my life, and he'll ask me to feel the feeling that I'm feeling that's negative. And then he'll say, think back to a time earlier in your life when you thought that, and bang, back. I'm 10 years old and I wet the bed at some kid's party and I feel ashamed about it. And that's the memory that is attached to something that's really serious going on in my life, something that I had no fucking idea that I held on to at all. Does that make sense? So you're diving into the subconscious state. So in terms of trading, people have a lot of stuff that is affecting their trading. They get greedy, they have FOMO, or the opposite. They're scared to lose, and it hurts them. Both of these things, either way, hurt them. So, this sort of work in general can be a massive help to, trading strategies, 100%.
Do you use it for poker too?
So I've used it exclusively this year for poker, and I'd say it's made me about 3 to 4 times as good, and I feel like I'm at the complete top of my game right now, without a doubt. I never have negativity never enters my mind, and my confidence is like completely off the charts.
Brett, you have one for Mark here?
I mean, it sounds good. I like you said something when we were talking pre-show, how someone that might have sold Amazon at $15 now would have the problem where they just want to keep holding. Right. Maybe someone who joined your fund late, for example, might have the problem. They just want to sell as soon as they have any gain because they just don't want to get buried again.
Right. For sure. And that could hurt them too. Yeah. And we have to be introspective about that, right? About what is making us tick. And are we basing actions out of fear and or past trauma, or were we basing from a normal place of intuition and just general knowledge?
The better tool you can get to go to war in any of these fields, I think, the better equipped you're going to be, because it's all about making good decisions in the moment for the future. Just use the past to inform it. But if you dwell and get stuck in the past, that is a negative place to be. So
I want in on this. Like this sounds great. This stuff sounds amazing. Sounds really good.
And any of the people that I talk to that do it a ton, they're just all crushers. Like all, the guys that use the guy that I use, Galfon, Haralabus, just like Fedor Holtz, all like the top crushers. They all use this guy, and I don't think it's just Elliott. I just think it's the modality in general.
Crazy stuff. That is a great ringing endorsement for Elliott Rowe, was it?
Elliott Rowe. Yeah,
I got the guy on the feed. And hypnosis to help you trade, play poker, and probably every aspect. That probably hits just about everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, everything for sure. He worked with UFC fighters. Sorry, I have to grab my thing. He worked with UFC fighters prior to working with poker players.
Grab the thing, Dip Throng. Thank you for joining us, because we are going to jump into the high-paced part of the show. This is the do your own research, not investment advice. Market Mania pick of the day. We try to help our viewers stack them to the top, despite the fact that this is not in any way investment advice. Brett Ritchie, kick us off while Mark settles in there and give us your pick of the day.
I'm rolling with AV. It is another drone company. I gave out a stock yesterday. Biden hired some asshole to be the defense guy. He loves droning. He was a big part of the Iraq war. They're going to be sending a lot of drones out in the Biden administration. So drone stocks are a good play.
The Iraq war, everybody remembers it was when they had those T-tops that were crashing into each other back in the day. So Mark Herm has left the building. He did not get the power cable in there in time. We'll see if he comes back, Tony, the producer, and then we'll fire out my pick of the day. In the meantime, Corsair Gaming. These are the people. They got the Elgato. They got all the mouses, all the gaming equipment, and a little $3 billion and change company. I just saw what C Limited did, some other hardware manufacturers, and it just might whoop since the pandemic. I don't know. I love it. Love this one. Put it in the long-term bag. Forget about it. Turn the computer off and check it in a year or two. Now, I believe that is going to do it. Mark Herm did have a pick of the day. Did he have a pick of the day?
He does have a pick of the day.
Well, it's pick of the day.
I don't know whether it was crypto or regular stock, but the ticker is Meta, META. And if we do get Mark back, we'll let you know which You can just buy
Yeah.
meta tickers and hope it's the right one.
Yeah,
I guess.
just go look for the meta tickers. You know, maybe you'll get lucky in the wrong thing too. That is Dip Throg's pick of the day. We will clarify that in a tweet later. But this has been a great show of Market Mania. Thank you to all the listeners. And a little one to leave you with from the ODB. I think that's appropriate today. Brett Ritchie goes a little something like this. This is from Got Your Money, featuring Keyless. And it goes, hey, Dirty, baby, I got your money. Don't you worry. I said, hey, baby, I got your money. Like and subscribe right here on YouTube. And follow us at Market Mania Show on Twitter. We will see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow.
Okay, Mark's
But for
pick,
now-
Acro, AKRO, $27 million market cap. Sorry to cut you off, Mycon, but I wanted to get Mark's pick out there.
And now we don't have to tweet it. And it's lights out on that.
Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on.
Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold, or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl.
Switch it up.
I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard at the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury of how of a turning where I would turn in. Can't lie like it's Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine it look the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind. Was afraid of the time strobe light flicker in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now. How about tonight?